Do any of you remember a movie that came out in theaters in around 1994 called Mental Frisbee? Well, if you don't, I'll explain it to you. It was supposed to be a comedy movie, which was about an Asian man who would sit in his home and rant about things, and then his kids would come and ruin it. Not very many people actually knew about the movie because there were no commercials at all, and it wasn't broadcast very much outside a movie theater near where I lived. Actually, only about 500 people knew about the movie. I'm not going to say where I live, but it's in a very small neighborhood in New Mexico, and the neighbors there, we know each other very well. If you're wondering why I'm posting this on a website made for horror stories, well, I'll just get right to the creepy stuff. When I was about 17, I got a job at a nearby theater, where I was working at a concession stand, when I noticed about 20 people lining up for a movie at around 10 AM, when we had just opened. The lineup was there until about noon, and they actually waited a gruelingly long time when my boss came out. He told me I would be able to have my break now, which was from noon to about 1:15, and the movie was an hour and 5 minutes. So I decided to check it out. I went and sat down and started to watch it. It started out with an Asian man sitting at his couch, emotionless. I don't know why, but he had a slight twitch every now and then. I thought it was because he was an older man and maybe he had Parkinson's disease. After about 2 minutes without him moving, and his family doing their average thing in the background, he started to look scared and had a very fearful expression on his face. He walked into the kitchen and I noticed that there was a long knife with what looked like blood on it. I kept watching and noticed the man starting to stare at something out the window and started repeating, "Oh no, 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 no!" which followed with a whisper from an unknown person saying, "Let's get him." After that, the camera cut out and you couldn't hear anything. When it cut back, it showed what looked like a human eye. It also showed a singed hair and what looked like a toe, but it was burnt to a fucking crisp. I got scared at this point and decided to eat my lunch outside because I didn't want to be grossed out. Maybe 6 people followed with me, and there were about 4 people still in the theater. I decided to sit outside and listen in. I could hear what sounded like some sort of microwave or something, followed by laughing. The doors then flung open and 2 people ran out screaming their asses off and ran out the movie theater. The 2 people who were still in there were extremely frightened, and when police got called to help them, they just ran away. The 2 people in the theater ran, and were never found to this day. The 2 people in the theater ran, and are still yet to be found. The people who saw the movie got interviewed by police, and were asked various questions. They never mentioned what they saw. One of them went missing, and the other is still alive. But after going on a rampage, biting his mother's arm, and going ballistic and attempting to beat a neighbor's dog to death, he now lives in a mental asylum, and will not talk about the incident if asked. They said the man who made the movie was actually an escaped cannibal from a mental hospital somewhere in Utah who had killed 2 people. He was believed to have made the movie and has never been caught. No one knows where he is today, and some say that he is linked to 3 brutal murders in USA, and 1 in Mexico. The movie has never been seen since it came into the theater near my hometown, but people have said that around that time it also appeared in some neighboring towns. If you ever find a DVD or anything related to watching this movie, I would advise you not to, because of what happened to the people who viewed it. And if someone says, "Oh, don't worry, it's a comedy," don't listen to them. This movie is violent, and the man who made it is probably still living out there today.